Hey everybody, earlier in the year I talked about the RACV cover that I have actually been recommending for probably a decade. I've had that for myself at least that long, and I think anybody that travels more than 100 k's from home should have the top level cover, not leave home without it. It used to be really good. There is some change. They call it product enhancements. Let's just have a look and see what they're talking about. And let me just tell you, it may be called enhanced, but there's some people are definitely advantaged and some are disadvantaged. And I don't think it's a fair disadvantage. I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to talk the facts. I'm not happy about it because I've got multiple cars. One driver, multiple cars. I can only drive one at a time. And for a few bucks more, a whole family of 5 can be covered with 5 cars all being driven at once. So you can see for about the same price point where it's not a very fair system. Because, you know, obviously if you're a family of 5 driving, that's awesome because you're paying a fifth of the cost each. You've got 5 times the coverage. If I've got 5 cars and I'm one person, I can only drive one at a time. So there's only 20% risk that it's going to end up on a tow truck. But I can only be covered for 2 cars unless I pay the extra fee for 5 cars, but I've still only got one driver. If any of that makes sense, but let's have a look. You can have a read for yourself or you can listen to my commentary, whatever you prefer. You have a read. All right. Sounds like marketing, fluff and goo at the moment. Strategy, I know what the strategy is, but anyway. What does it mean for members? Multiple vehicles. Before it was unlimited multiple vehicles. It was 1 driver and 1 car, which was cool. And I think it could have been improved, but I just think people like myself, and there's a number of people like myself that are disadvantaged, you know, hire car, work cars, whatever you were driving, you were just covered. And you know what? You generally didn't have a problem, but it was good to have that coverage, and now you don't. You only have, on the standard 250, 300 bucks a year, you only get covered on 2 cars unless you pay the extra fee, even if you're one driver. So I think it should be a bit different. It should be based on driver numbers, not car numbers. But anyway, just understand that at some point yours is going to change and you won't be covered for driving any vehicle. You need to have your vehicles listed. They talk about their advantages and disadvantages. Let's just get over the page to the next one. You can have a read for yourself. I'm not sure if you've seen this document, but here we go. You've always had to show your ID anyway, so there's nothing new about that. For years, the drivers were meant to ask for ID, and just like they're meant to still do it now, sometimes they won't, and people could do shifties. And of course, there was a few shifties before, and there's ways that needed to be fixed. But I think asking for ID was one of them. So I don't think changing these numbers stops people from not checking identification, if you know what I mean. So there's that bit of info for you. Here's the next page for you. You can have a look at that. You might need to pause it. I'm just going to move on. Keep this one short and sweet. Hey, can you be quiet, please? We're doing a video here, mate. We're trying to do a video here. I'm going to show people this document here. Here's your FAQs, right? So you might need to pause. I'm not going to stay here for too long. Mate, can you be quiet, please? So there it is. You know, what's the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so benefit increased to 5,000 per vehicle. Well, so I didn't realise there was a limit before. Years ago when I inquired, they didn't tell me there's a limit here. What's this, 10,000 per vehicle, extra care, total care. So look, let's all have a read of this. It's an interesting document. FAQs continued over this side here. Okay, then over to the other side. There's your new terminology. You can have a look at that in case you haven't got a copy of this document. Thank you very much for watching. Now I'll have a read of it and condense it into a summary. So this page is basically their marketing telling you how it's better, and it is better in some ways. I said that. One of the benefits is you can have multiple drivers. So instead of 1 driver, 1 car, and that driver was covered for any car they were driving before, where I'm disadvantaged, for example, you can have, I haven't got the exact number here, but I think it was something like 6 drivers. It's only 2 cars unless you pay extra, so you pay a bit extra, and you can have 4 or 5 cars. I'll get to the bottom of it. This is the important part here. Total care members will no longer be covered for any vehicle, but only the vehicles listed on their policy, which with the standard fee I was paying before, I could drive any one of, say, 3, 4 vehicles, 5 vehicles, 6 vehicles, hire cars, whatever the case may be. Now, it's only 2 vehicles unless you pay extra. So what it's saying here is you don't need to show your photo ID anymore, because obviously they're only covering those vehicles, so they'll go by rego numbers, not identification. This page tells you if you've got questions where you can get answers. You can just subscribe and turn the bell on and get all the information you need condensed in a summary right here on 4x4 Diesel. So the base cover has got a $5,000 per vehicle limit, annual benefit. Increased to $5,000 annual benefit, right? So that's a yearly, and per vehicle 5,000. Like I said, 2 vehicles and 6 drivers. So 6 drivers, yeah, they're going to keep those 2 cars real busy. More chance they're going to break down. And this one I don't understand, because we already had 2 vehicles on roadside care, and now extra care says 2 vehicles per plan with the second vehicle available for just $70. I don't get it. If you've already got 2, what the 70's for the second one. So maybe someone can explain in the comments. And then it says option to go to total care, which is the next one, for only $23. And then $10,000 per vehicle, and still only 6 drivers. If you've got a family of 4 or 5, this one's really good value for money in my opinion. This is for take advantage. You can get the whole family covered. So you've got 2 vehicles at no additional cost. Well, what do you mean? You had 2 vehicles before, so why? Anyway, and up to 5 vehicles for just $80. So $80 more is what it should say. I don't know why it says this 2 at no additional cost, because it's the same as up here. Anyway, a bit confusing, which is why we're sort of debugging it, right? So 5 vehicles for an extra $80. So on top of your $280 a year, or whatever it might be, depending how long you've been a member, you can pay just an extra $80 and have 5 people. So if you've got a family of 5 all driving, that's really good value for money. And it covers up to 15 club plated vehicles. So if I had 20 cars, I could have 5 registered vehicles, 15 club plated, and I'm still only 1 driver. See the problem? I've got to pay the $80 where you don't get the 15 club plated vehicles on this other coverage here. But I can only drive 1 car at a time, which means it's low risk. So it should be, you get what I mean with the pricing anyway. It's a bit complicated. And you still don't know which vehicle. What if you've got 7 vehicles that are normal reg and only 5 club plated? I mean, you know, you still only drive 1 at a time, not much. But so I think this stuff needs to be a bit more flexible. And of course, $25,000 per plan, which is good. Extended annual benefit increased to 20. So I didn't realise there was limits before. Apparently there is limits, but that's quite a big limit. If you could get 1 tow on a remote recovery tow, I don't think they'd really want to spend 25 grand. I'd imagine they would never do that. They'd get it done for 3, 4, 5 grand. But if I'm understanding that correctly, that's very good. Bottom here, the eligibility for entitlements, you know, because you get taxis, you get accommodation sometimes, different things under different circumstances. So that all apparently stays the same. Most of you will know about it by now, because as I said, it changed in February. Wasn't too sure when the changes were 100% in the last video, but it was February. So when you get a renewal in 2025, it'll tell you about it, and it sort of changes over, and you've got some adjustments to make. You're gonna have to put some vehicle details in, or you'll find you're not covered. So this is where it talks about, at the moment, you've got your coverage in any vehicle until your renewal comes and transition, where you'll lose that. And then it just recaps that you won't need to show ID, because they're looking at regos, right? Other registered drivers can call up for service. You don't have to be that person. Additional drivers can live elsewhere, doesn't need to be at the same address. Any driver can request assistance on any listed vehicle on the plan. Any driver on any vehicle, as long as the driver and the vehicle's listed. This one I don't really understand. Can unlisted drivers receive assistance? Yes, just like today, unlisted drivers can receive roadside assistance for a nominated vehicle if they can verify ID and V, whatever that, identification and V. The plan owner, so I don't know, do they drivers have to be listed or not? Maybe not. Anyway, let me know in the comments how that one works out for you. Last page, you can work that out for yourself. Terminology, like a legal document. Anyway, subscribe, turn the bell on. 4x4 Adventures, 4x4 Diesel. Hit the like button if you learnt something. Hope it helped you. I'm disadvantaged. Other people will be advantaged. If that's what it is. It'd be good if they had some more flexibility. More based on per driver than per vehicle, I think. And covering any vehicle you're driving was good. I guess there was a few shifties, but maybe how about any vehicle you're driving that, you know, as long as you could verify that it was in the same name or family name or something along those lines, you know, like reasonable sort of evidence could be provided at some point to say, look, this is one of our vehicles. It's not just some random at the side of the road that I'm helping out. We wouldn't want to just do that now, would we? That wouldn't be fair. If you've been paying $300 a year and haven't used it in 10 years, and you see some poor lady at the side of the road with her 3 kids broken down with a bonnet up, you know, you wouldn't want to use it to help them out, would you? That'd be very naughty. Anyway, bada bing, bada boom. Catch you on the next video.